Overcoming resistance is one of the biggest battles we'll ever face. It's almost like a fight to the end when we're talking about resistance. That ego voice that lives inside of us all is insidious, sinister, and it's relentless. Our best defense? That little amazing but mighty force called gratitude. Plain and simple, gratitude is creating without resistance. If you've ever wondered how to overcome the force of resistance when it just won't leave you alone, then this episode is for you.
Well, hi there and welcome. My name is Remy, like Do Re Mi. I'm a best-selling author and creator of the Get Unstuck Revolution. I help extraordinary women with big-ass dreams just like you who want to get unstuck from a life that doesn't work and get to where you know you need to be, into a life that's filled with passions and purpose. Now let's get started with today's episode.
Okay, let me jump off the screen here and change over to my laptop. Today we're zeroing in on just one of the amazing positive energies, and that's the energy of gratitude. Because when we're in a fight to the death with that insidious force called ego or resistance, we want the weapon of choice to be something that works really, really well because our success depends on it. If you aren't getting the success you want in full abundance, however you identify with success, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with higher frequencies so that you can attract the success you're craving, then this episode is for you. Maybe it's time to open up to your hidden power and create something unimaginable, something totally unreasonable, something that maybe even seems impossible, to kick your whole life and all your success into high gear for whatever success means for you. And today, I'm going to try and get you one step closer. As business owners, change makers, thought leaders, innovators, disruptors, or even if we haven't found the right fit in the world yet, whether we're talking about our relationships at home or at work, or when we're talking about our finances, sometimes we find that we're moving away from success. So how do we overcome this? How can we find the clarity and courage we need so that we can unlock our hidden power? Well, it's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking. It's time to allow the soul connection instead so we can broadcast our hidden power from the hilltops. This episode is for you if you wonder how to stop self-sabotage even when you don't realize you're doing it. Why gratitude is 5,000 times more powerful than other positive energies, and how resentment is an energetic bomb that always ricochets back on us one way or another. Yes, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy. Because when you're feeling stuck, it's never the situation that has you stuck. It's your energy that's become stuck in doubts, worries, frustrations, indecision. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of your situation, it's the pain of not being connected in the natural energy of who you really are, of being connected to that magical part of you that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what you want and bring it into physical manifestation. Part of this process is to allow your manifestations to materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much are where you find the magic of alchemy. And using your hidden power means using these positive energies to effect transformation, because if you're like me, then you're someone who has the audacity, the willingness to take bold risks and transform challenges into success. So let's talk about this idea of transformation and the audacity of alchemy, because your choice of frequency can change the course of your journey. You know, we talk about this every week, that we are creative vibrational beings who can use positive energies to create what we want if we'll simply remember not to get stuck in the negative vibrations that block those creations. These negative vibrations, whether we call them fears, doubts, worries, confusion, indecision, anger, can all be grouped into one thing, and that's resistance. Resistance is the ego thinking that wants to sabotage everything we want to create. Now, I have a few favorite authors who talk about resistance. One is Bob Proctor, another is Eckhart Tolle. I love Bob Doyle. And of course, we can't forget about Stephen Pressfield, who wrote one of my favorite all-time books, The War of Art. He's defined resistance in a way that all the law of attraction teachers put together haven't defined it. So he's one of my favorites too. Overcoming resistance is one of the biggest battles we'll ever face in our lives. It's almost like a fight to the end when we're talking about resistance. That ego voice that lives inside of all of us is insidious. It's sinister, and it's relentless. So how do we overcome this ego thinking? Well, gratitude is one of our best defenses. Gratitude rewires your brain, and you can search that at Inc.com. You can search that phrase, gratitude rewires your brain, at Inc.com for an article that outlines this specific research and how gratitude physically changes our brain. So while any one of the positive energies that we talk about so much here will do the trick, gratitude has an element that other positive energies don't quite have, and that's the power of creation, because gratitude is creating without resistance. The trick isn't just to be grateful for what we have right now, because let's face it, we sometimes just find ourselves regurgitating that list over and over. I'm so grateful for the roof over my head. I'm so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful for my beautiful cat. People tell me that sometimes it feels like a very short, very redundant list, and they get bored with it in a very short period of time. So the trick is to be grateful for what we've been through, what is right now, and for what's coming. And I know when we're going through one of life's heaviest trials, this is pushing it. I've had people at my workshop say, how can I be grateful for this bankruptcy I'm going through? Or how can I be grateful for this heartbreak that I just can't seem to get over? Or how can I be grateful for this business that just won't break through to the next level of success no matter what I try? And of course, I've talked to those people who feel like they're pretending if they do gratitude affirmations for what isn't even here yet. And this is what I want to zero in on, because gratitude is creating with non-resistance. But before we zero in on this idea that gratitude is creating without resistance, this is where we remember that our choice of frequency can change the course of our journey. Our choice of frequency, including gratitude, can literally cause obstacles to disappear because they aren't a vibrational match for us. So if you already know that you'd like to dissolve life's obstacles that are on your path to success, if you already know that you're ready to be a creator, then you might be ready for this amazing new tool to get you moving into some better patterns and frequencies where success can find its way to you. It's called the Alchemy Matrix, and it's going to help you shape your destiny. It's an interactive roadmap designed to help you solve problems, dissolve barriers, heal spiritual injuries, and bring in a lot of clarity so you can create a future that you'd like to see. This is just a brief reminder that you can sign up to learn more about the Alchemy Matrix at successcircleworkshops.com, and I promise to tell you more about that here in just a minute. But for now, we're zeroing in on this idea that gratitude is creating without resistance. Since we are creative vibrational beings who can use positive energies to create what we want, then we also have to be responsible for managing this resistance if we're going to support that inner creator within us. And I mentioned earlier some of my favorite teachers, and one I haven't mentioned yet is Wallace Wattles. In his book called The Science of Getting Rich, here's what he says about using gratitude to overcome resistance. There is a law of gratitude, and if you were to get the results you seek, it is absolutely necessary that you should observe this law. So is there really a law of gratitude, and if so, how exactly does it work? Well, we talked recently in the episode called Discernment and Choice, and that's the episode title if you'd like to go look it up, Discernment and Choice, and we talked about how everything is already given, both good and bad. It's our choice on what we'd like to experience. The universe isn't personal, it's simply responding to our vibration, and our vibration is giving the universe its instructions, good or bad. It treats doubts, worries, and fears exactly as it would resilience, appreciation, and gratitude, without prejudice. If we're putting energy on a situation, good or bad, we're placing an order with the cosmic kitchen to get back something that matches our energy. So if we're going through something and we honestly can't find the gratitude within it, it's just as effective to find gratitude in other situations. That's how powerful gratitude is. It impacts every area of our life. And this is why we talk so much about putting positive energies toward best possible outcomes, even if we don't know what that is yet. Having gratitude for what's coming is leaving ourselves open for positive possibilities. Gratitude is so important because it's a very high frequency vibration of thought. It is powerfully attractive. Some people say it's 5,000 times more powerful than any other frequency. But if we've ever felt just a little bit bored with gratitude because we feel like nothing is going right in life, well, it can be a challenge. So rather than thinking about specific things we're grateful for, how about if we consider that gratitude is a way to connect with source energy? Well, let's go back to Wallace Wattles. He says, you cannot exercise much power without gratitude because it's gratitude that keeps you connected with power. The grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. Therefore, it will receive the best. So the grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best, or I like to say the best possible outcomes. Constantly fixed. This means not looking at what we don't want and not looking at what isn't working in our life or in our business, but constantly fixed on positive outcomes. Gratitude is a way of making sure that we're putting the highest possible positive energy on our desires, and in doing that, there's no space for the energy of doubts, worries, fears. You know, I'm a big fan of making up mantras and affirmations to support the energy transformation that we're looking for. And so here's one of my favorites about gratitude. I'm so grateful for the love and happiness that it's on its way to me now. I'm so grateful for the love and happiness that's on its way to me now. As you look at this, where's the resistance? As you see with this one, or as you say it quietly to yourself or out loud if you'd rather, do you feel how within this mantra there's no resistance? This mantra is so neutral that there's literally nothing for ego to argue with. Ego can't argue because ego has no earthly idea when it's on its way. So whether you want to attract new love, or maybe you want to improve a current relationship, whether it's personal or business, or even if you're looking to enhance your connection with source energy, it's a beautiful mantra. And can you also see, as you look at this mantra, and this is huge, how gratitude is creating without resistance? In this kind of mantra, you're creating an experience that you'd like to have. Even if you don't have love and happiness in your life right now, this mantra helps you align with your creative vibrational self, that part of you that can use positive energies like gratitude to create what you want. And so let me look at another example here. I'm so grateful to have the ability to release anything that no longer serves me so that I can attract the most joyful outcomes. Now, as you look at that mantra, is there any resistance? This mantra affirms our abilities as a creative vibrational being, and it also has that element of creator. We're creating without resistance. And here's one more example. I'm so grateful and open to new possibilities. This is the reason that experts who teach about goals insist that you see your goal as already accomplished and that you be grateful for it as if it's already happened. Now, I personally have a little trouble with seeing goals as already accomplished because there's that little part of me that feels like it's a pretense, that little part of me that's a little more pragmatic. But I have absolutely no trouble identifying a goal in full color detail and then using a mantra like this to encompass all possibilities. The idea is to do whatever works for you, whatever bypasses resistance, because we want to create without resistance. No matter what method works best for you, this is a powerful way to put a very strong positive energy on a goal using gratitude. Well, you'd think this would be the secret to conquering the world, and in a way it is. But we get in the way of this powerful force, sometimes without realizing it, through 3 different types of resistance. So let's see if we can overcome these 3 common types of gratitude blocks. And here is gratitude block number 1. The universe is designed to make things difficult. It's how we learn and grow. You know, some people feel that there's a limited supply. It's hard to be grateful when there's not enough. And we call it scarcity, or we call it lack thinking. And you've even heard me say it before. If we don't have success or money or love or fill in the blank for whatever we don't have, it's only for one reason. It's because we're focused on lack. We're focused on what's missing or on what's not working. This is a belief system that encourages doubts and fears and worries. In fact, most sales training is based on this idea of what's missing or what isn't working or why things have been difficult. Is it easy to be grateful when we think that the universe is designed to be difficult? Well, not so much. As we focus on overcoming our difficulties, we're focusing on the problem, and problems are infected with resistance. Our thinking keeps creating more and more difficult situations because, after all, we are creators. We begin to think about how to overcome these difficulties instead of working with universal energies to create what we want. The universe isn't designed to make things difficult. It's actually made up of energy that's waiting for our thought processes to transform that energy into something tangible. We are the creators, and we do it with our thoughts. Now, if you've ever read the book called The 4% Universe, it's an interesting theory. It talks about how ordinary matter makes up only 4% of the universe, and all the rest is made up of dark energy that is both invisible and almost impossible to detect. And this dark energy creates enough gravitational force to hold the stars that make up the galaxy together. So because of this dark energy, the galaxies are able to hold their shape. This dark energy is also responsible for the expansion of the universe over time. That book is called The 4% Universe. And so this concept is because our thoughts and our energy create things, and these things that we manifest are matter, and they become physical. So our thoughts are literally creating the world around us, bringing things into manifestation. The universe isn't making things difficult. It's waiting for us. It's actually made up of energy that's waiting for our thought processes to transform that energy into something tangible, good or bad. We are the creators. So we can choose to see a friendly universe with an abundant supply rather than scarcity and lack. We can choose to create our success from this unformed energy that's waiting for us to form something. And so here is gratitude block number 2. Whatever is, is. How many times have you heard someone say that? Although some may see this as acceptance, it's actually a very low vibration called apathy. The thought that whatever is may seem like non-resistance. It may seem like acceptance. It may seem like surrender. It really depends on the energy behind it. But for the most part, this is a thought pattern that keeps us out of gratitude. It's saying that we aren't going to fight the plans of the universe. We aren't going to interrupt our own soul's plan. And that may seem very noble, but let me give you an example. I once dated a guy named Robert about 100 years ago, and he was into meditation. He went to a spiritual, non-denominational church, and he believed in letting go and letting God. The trouble was, he'd let go of his entire life. Now, to some people, that might be a high-frequency surrender way to live, but I could see below the surface. Aside from his practices, his energy was fraught with fear because he'd had so many painful life experiences. So, in letting go and letting God, he was actually practicing escapism. He had zero responsibility for life, and in fact, he was setting up a system where he could blame God for the things that went wrong in his life. Now, I'm not saying that everyone who practices letting go and letting God is being irresponsible. Not at all. I'm saying that his words said one thing, but his energy was in an entirely different place. He wasn't in non-resistance. He simply wanted no responsibility or obligation for anything around him. He may have said with his words that he lived in gratitude, but his energy was actually way down in apathy and fear for what might be around the next corner. He wasn't able to be an active creator and use vibrational energy to lift his life up to a higher level. So as you can see, non-resistance is one of the most misunderstood principles of success. Non-resistance doesn't mean that we have to be a doormat. It only means that we don't argue with what's in our present circumstances, because when we do, it creates resistance. Instead of arguing or defaulting into apathy, we can apply the law of opposites, or the law of polarity. We've talked about this a lot here, that when we see something we don't like, we simply look for its opposite and create from there. This law simply states that everything has two equal and opposite sides. Every situation that looks bad has an equal amount of good if we look for it. We simply look for the positive. Or if that seems impossible, we can look for the blessing within the situation. In looking for the blessings, we're automatically lining up with gratitude thinking. In looking for the blessings, we're automatically lining up with gratitude thinking. Like two sides of a coin, every situation has a side that looks bad and a side that looks good. We get to choose ego's perspective, or we can choose a more spiritual perspective. We can look at what's wrong or what's missing, or we can find the blessing. Our suffering is caused by only one thing: how we think about a situation. When we say whatever is, and the energy behind it is apathy, then we'll attract more things to be disappointed about. But if we say whatever is, and we find the blessings within it, we can attract more blessings. Make sense? We talk about this every week. It isn't the situation that has us stuck. It's our negative thoughts about the situation that keeps us stuck in that energy. You know, in my life, the worst experiences that I've gone through have eventually shown themselves to be a gift. They contained the seed of something blessed for me. I haven't always been able to find the blessing in the moment, but it was always there. So as you look back over your very worst life experience, the very worst life experience you've ever been through, can you see the blessing? That's the thing to be grateful for. I found that resistance, looking at what's wrong or what's missing, increases the suffering and prolongs the experience in the most painful way. The value of non-resistance is that it really speeds the process up and gets us to the good part faster. In finding the blessing, in finding the things to be grateful for inside the situation, we're using that energy of gratitude to create without resistance. So find the good in the situation, find the blessing, and be grateful for it. This shifts the energy to what you want, and is the second step in the law of gratitude. So lastly, let's look at gratitude block number 3. I've tried everything and nothing is changing, so maybe XYZ just isn't the right thing for me. You know, it took me personally a long time to get through this one, and I hope you can get through it faster than I did. And it's only one word. That word is resentment. Now, let me be clear. I'm not one to hold a grudge. I'm not one to be disgruntled or harbor bad feelings. I'm not a hostile person, not at all. And I don't hold on to animosities, and I'm betting you don't either. But one of my favorite exercises when I'm trying to understand a concept is to look up words in the thesaurus. It gives me a starting point sometimes when I'm looking for insights. And when I look up the word resentment in the thesaurus, I find 3 words: irritation, displeasure, and dissatisfaction. Resentment might also mean this to you: irritation, displeasure, or dissatisfaction. You know, one of my clients went through a situation one time that was definitely causing her irritation, so much so her skin was itching, like really itching. And it was itching so badly that she was literally drawing blood when she scratched. And she'd wake up with blood on her sheets, and she'd draw blood while she was on the phone, mindlessly scratching in the background of a conversation. And it started at one place on her body and began to move around like her skin was crawling. And she told me the only place that she was not itching was on her fingertips. The funny thing, there was absolutely nothing visible on her skin. No reason at all for this itching. And it finally got so bad that she went to the doctor, and they took a history and they ran tests, and, you know, everything was normal. She knew it was energetic, but how do you walk into a doctor's office and tell them it's energetic? Well, they ultimately gave her an allergy protocol, a combination of steroids and anti-anxiety medicine to calm down her nervous system. But she knew exactly what was happening. She was supremely irritated at a situation that she was in. At the bottom of all that, resentment with a capital R. She had become caught in this in-between place of wanting something so desperately yet not being able to have it. And it was irritating and annoying and frustrating, and sure enough, it became a physical manifestation. And it wasn't until she learned this one principle that she could overcome the resentment. Your choice of frequency changes the course of your journey. Your choice of frequency can change your destiny. It can change the course of the journey that you're on. And it took everything in her power to let go of resentment she was holding on to and change her frequency. I'm not saying this is easy, and yet it's the easiest thing in the world to simply choose a new perspective, one of gratitude. Because then she could stop wasting her time on irritation and annoyance and frustration and get into a more productive energy where she could regain her abilities to create, but without the resistance. So one of the first steps in becoming free is to release everyone from these emotional debts. Release everyone from the emotional debts that we call resentment. Because resentments are energetic bombs that always ricochet back on us one way or another. We have to be willing to release the person or the situation with gratitude for what they brought us and not worry about what's lacking or missing. Because resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. I can tell you from my own experience that just beginning the process of finding blessings and expressing gratitude is an incredible gift, because gratitude is creating without resistance. Gratitude is creating without resistance. So I have an exercise for you today to kind of bring this home. I'd like you to think of a situation where you feel resentment or lack, or that something's missing. It could be work-related, it could be financial, maybe your relationship. It could be someplace where you have spiritual sight for how something is supposed to be and it's just not that way. And in that situation, I'd like you to find 10 things to be grateful for, and then expand the list to 20 things to be grateful for. And then once you've done that, then take the 10 things that are the 10 best things and narrow it down and create a list of mantras or affirmations from that list. And then I'd like you to practice these mantras for 21 days. And experts say that doing that for 21 days will change your outlook for a full 6 months, as the Harvard research showed in that Inc.com article that we talked about earlier. Practicing this gratitude mantra, or this set of mantras, for 21 days can change your outlook for a full 6 months. And so that's your exercise for today as we work toward being in the flow of positive possibilities for success. Yes, this is your invitation to step it up a notch and do something unimaginable, something totally unreasonable, something that may even seem impossible. And remember, to the universe, nothing is impossible. All that's required from you is a shift in frequency, because your choice of frequency can change the course of your journey. I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. But if you still can't get your head around what's got you stuck, you can tell me about it. You can leave a question here, or if you're someone who has the audacity, the willingness to take bold risks to transform challenges into success, you can find out more about our events at successcircleworkshops.com. This is where you can learn more about the audacity of alchemy and how to unlock your hidden power. You'll get a personalized interactive roadmap that's custom designed to get you unstuck by unlocking your hidden power to create big, magical changes. You know, alchemy. You'll learn to solve problems, dissolve barriers, and bring success to you. So don't wait. Go to successcircleworkshops.com and get your personalized alchemy matrix package right now. And here's what you'll get: a full-color workbook filled with hands-on exercises to inspire your creative energies, membership in your very own Success Circle for high-level masterminding and networking, your very own customized alchemy matrix to unlock your hidden power and bring success to you, and your very own personal unstuckologist. Remember, the Alchemy Matrix is the only tool of its kind, and it's only available here. So if you're ready to approach your life's challenges with audacity, if you're ready to finally banish frustration, indecision, and that negative spiral, if you're ready to watch success materialize right before your eyes, then don't settle for another minute of ordinary. Go to successcircleworkshops.com to get your personalized Alchemy Matrix package right now and watch the magic start to happen. Thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and I look forward to seeing you in one of our upcoming Success Circles. You can find out more at successcircleworkshops.com.